They call me a champion now. A title, a curse, a crown hammered from the skulls of my enemies. But do not mistake me for a leader or a ruler. I am nothing so delicate. I am an instrument, a blade honed by endless battle, a weapon of the blood god whose edge never dulls, whose thirst is never slaked. I was not born a champion. None of us are. We are born weak, soft, filled with the mewling illusions of peace. Only in the crucible of slaughter are we tempered. Only in the forge of blood do we harden into something worthy. My path was not chosen. It was cut, hacked, carved through the screaming bodies of thousands. I will tell you what it means to be a champion of Khorne, not for pity, nor for pride, but because the truth itself is a weapon, and perhaps you will bleed upon it. I was once mortal. I know the stink of fear, the taste of iron from biting one's tongue to keep from screaming, the shame of bowels loosening in terror when the enemy charges. I was a soldier of the Astra Militarum, one guardsman among millions, cannon fodder for the Imperium's endless wars. We fought orcs in the mud. We fought rebels in the ash wastes. We died by the tens of thousands, and for what? For the promise that the Emperor's light would remember us. Lies. Our names were never spoken. Our skulls were buried in mass pits without markers. It was there, amid the corpses of my regiment, that I first heard him. The rhythm in my chest, louder than fear, louder than despair, a drumbeat that drowned out the commissar's orders, a roar that demanded only this: rise and kill. I rose, I killed, and I did not stop. The laskin grew clumsy in my hands. I preferred the shovel, the bayonet, the stone, anything that split flesh, anything that broke bone. My comrades shrank from me. My officers feared me. But the enemy fell and fell and fell again. And each time the blood splashed hot upon me, the drumbeat grew louder. A champion is not self-declared. One does not choose the title. It is given, burned, seared, carved into the soul by Khorne himself. For me, it came on the night when the sky turned red with fire, and the enemy pressed us to the brink. I had slaughtered until my arms were numb, until my body was pierced with more wounds than flesh should endure. Yet I stood, and then I saw him, a warlord of the traitor marines, taller than 3 men, his axe the size of my body. He waded through the battlefield as though it were a river of children. None could stand before him. I did. I had no right to. I was a mortal, a nothing, yet I threw myself against him, my blade catching his, sparks of red fire erupting with every clash. He laughed. I remember that. A laugh that shook my bones as though mocking the idea that I could matter. And then I killed him. Do not ask me how. I remember only the blur of strikes, the tearing of flesh, the final arc of his head leaving his shoulders, spinning into the mud. I remember the silence that followed, the crowd of warriors frozen as though time itself had paused. Then the drumbeat became thunder. My skin burned. My vision swam. My blood boiled with fire, not my own. Brass cymbals erupted across my flesh, scars seared in patterns of rage. My wounds sealed, my bones hardened, my muscles swelled with power. And when I roared, the battlefield roared with me. Do you imagine glory? Do you picture banners waving, warriors kneeling, daemons whispering your name? Cast aside such childish thoughts. A champion's life is not glory. It is hunger. Khorne does not grant peace. He grants only the chance to kill again, to drown oneself in blood, until the rivers of it wash away thought. I wake each day with the drum still pounding. My body is no longer mine, but his. My arms thirst for the axe, my throat thirsts for the roar, my soul thirsts for skulls to heap upon his throne. Every battle is a trial, every duel is a test. A champion who falters is no champion at all. The blood god gives his gifts freely, but he takes them back the instant you fail to please him. I have seen fellow champions stripped in moments, their bodies collapsing into heaps of gore, their skulls rolling across the mud into the hands of their executioners. We are exalted, yes, but we are also damned. There is no respite, no end, no final victory. Only war without end. Our rites are not like those of other gods. There are no sermons, no prayers, no books of law. There is only the harvest. When the horns sound and the battle begins, it is I who leads the charge. My warband follows, their eyes fixed on my back, their voices screaming my chant. We surge into the enemy like a tide of blades, every death a verse, every scream a chorus. The skulls are taken in ritual, not every kill counts. A head crushed beneath rubble, a body vaporized by fire. These are waste, unworthy. But a skull cleaved clean, a head severed with purpose. That is an offering. That is sacred. After the battle, we build the altar from what remains. Skulls stacked in pyramids, eyes still twitching, tongues still lolling, blood pooled into trenches, where we bathe until our skin is slick with it. And then I raise my axe to the sky and bellow his name, and the warband howls with me. It is not for victory. It is not for conquest. It is not for survival. It is only for him. Do not think a champion fights only the enemy. No, the greatest danger comes from within. For every champion is envied, every title contested, every scar a challenge. I have been hunted more times than I can count. Once by my own lieutenant, who crept into my tent with blade drawn. I gutted him before he could strike, and his skull now crowns my altar. Once by another champion, a brute named Khorne, who ambushed me amid the ruins of a fallen hive. We fought for 3 days without rest, our bodies torn, our weapons shattering. In the end I ripped his heart free with my teeth, and the drumbeat thundered so loud that the walls of reality itself trembled. There is no loyalty among us, only blood. If one of my men kills me tomorrow and takes my place, I will not curse him. I will not hate him. I will only roar my approval, for he has pleased Khorne more than I. That is the truth of our brotherhood. Eternal rivalry, eternal slaughter, eternal proof of worth. You wish to know what gifts he grants us. Look upon my body and see. My flesh has hardened into armor, brass and bone fused into living plates. My eyes burn with crimson light, seeing the heat of blood even through walls. My arms never tire, my axe never dulls. My wounds seal even as they open. Yet these are only the surface. The true blessing is the rage. It fills me, lifts me, carries me beyond pain, beyond thought. In the height of battle, when blood rains and skulls fall, I feel him with me. My arms are his, my voice his, my heart his. I am not man, not mortal, not even warrior. And when I stand atop the pile of the slain, when the last foe twitches in the mud, I feel his gaze upon me, and I roar, and he roars back. But do not mistake this for joy. Do not think me blessed without cost. The rage never ends. The hunger never abates. There is no peace, no sleep, no moment of silence. My dreams are filled with slaughter, my waking hours with screams. I cannot remember the faces of those I once called family. I cannot remember my own name. I am only champion, and that is all I will ever be. Even my victories are for no matter how many skulls I take, no matter how high I pile them, the hunger remains. I am never sated, never rewarded, never free. My glory is my prison, and my prison is eternal. And yet I would not trade it, for in the moment of the kill, in the heartbeat, when axe cleaves skull and blood sprays hot, there is purity. There is truth. There is no deceit, no falsehood, no weakness. Only blood, only death, only him. Perhaps one day I will ascend further. Perhaps Khorne will grant me daemonhood, wings of brass, claws that split worlds. Or perhaps he will tire of me, and I will fall, stripped, forgotten, just another skull upon the mountain. It does not matter. My fate is his, and his alone. My life is slaughter. My death will be slaughter. My eternity will be slaughter. War without end, blood without end, skulls without end. So hear me, you who read these words. Take up your blade, spill blood, offer skulls. Perhaps you too will hear the drum beat, and perhaps you too will rise. But know this. Once you begin, you will never stop. You will never rest. You will never escape. You will be his, and his alone, until the stars themselves drown in blood.